Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're calling in from today. Thank you for attending and thank you for your interest. So Dave Miller, president here at eMAM, and we're very excited to share some of the technical updates we've had recently in our eMAM platform. So presenting today will be Anoop Thomas. He's our director of technology. So to run over some of the recent updates and changes and integrations and things we've been working on. If you have any questions, put them right in the chat or in the question box. We'll try to answer them at the end, or depending on what it is, maybe as we go through. We'll be recording today's session, so let us know if you want a copy. And we'll have another session this evening. So if more convenient for you or your colleagues to attend that session, welcome aboard. But without any further ado, let me turn it over to Anoop Thomas, who will be sharing some of the recent updates and things we've been working on with the eMAM team. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Hi, everyone. Good morning, good evening. And as Dave mentioned, we'll be discussing the latest tech updates. So we have introduced eMAM 5.4 at the NAB show in April 2024. And since then, we have released 7 patches. As you can see it in the screen, the current version as of today is 5.4.7. And that includes a lot of features and bug fixes. But today we will walk you through some of these exciting additions, mainly the features. That's what makes it interesting for more people. So the one addition is Premiere Pro CC 2024 to DaVinci Resolve Studio 8.6. So we can now, with the latest patch, we can take a Premiere project and import that directly into Resolve. So I'm going to show that live, and I will be quickly going through that the process. And if you have any questions, please use the comment section or the question answer section so I can stop and explain things better. And also I want to make this as a more interactive session than just to do a PowerPoint presentation. If you have any technical queries or anything, please kind of ask. If you have any workflow problem or workflow questions, please ask those questions so we can pause and discuss that and then move forward. So now I'm in inside Premiere. I'm just going to create a new project called new. Again, I'm not an editor, but let me try to create a quick project here. So I'm just going to name that as Premiere to Resolve. And so again, most of you may be already familiar with our extension panel inside Premiere. So we have the ways to download the existing project, download the sequence from an existing project, browse the categories and import the categories with the media as a bin, and then also the assets, and browse the assets, preview the assets, and import that into Premiere. So now I'm starting a project with the Premiere. This project is not in eMAM at this moment. I'm starting with the project in Premiere, and maybe I'll search for something. And okay, so I got a clip. I'm going to import that one. So I'm just going to import the original media and localizing the media because I'm working from home and all this media is sitting in S3. So yeah, that's I think it's a 400 meg video, so it may take a little bit time to come in. So, but as you can see, that's the kind of the performance you get if you have the so the speed and everything is all going to depend on the internet connection. So the idea here, I'm just going to start with a project and create a sequence and then put it back into eMAM and then just open Resolve and then import that project and see how that works. So okay, that is here. So I'm just going to create a sequence, and so I'm just going to rename this sequence here. So in that way I know that's my sequence. I don't want to create a very lengthy sequence here, so I'm just going to cut it to maybe 5 seconds or something, and otherwise it will be taking forever to render. So I done some edit. I'm going to export it back to eMAM, and it already detected that the element is already there in eMAM because that's a media. I kind of brought it from eMAM, And now this is something new, like we are creating a FCP XML. That is a way to interchange a project between Premiere and Resolve. There are problems with that approach, especially if it is coming with the graphics elements and so on. But again, I'm not going to get into those details. I'm just going to show you the available options to get a project from Premiere to Resolve. And in this case, I have a sequence. I'm just going to render that sequence into H.264 or whatever format you want. And then I'm using the local media encoder to render that sequence and put it into eMAM system. So also you can select the projects category. I'm just going to select a random category here. And you can add the tags and click on add. So this kickstart a process with media encoder. So this all automated. Now the eMAM extension panel is controlling that rendering process and so on. And all those processes can be tracked directly from our live dashboard too. So if you, okay, this is doing stuff behind the scenes, so I'm just going to wait for a few minutes. So see that the files are coming in. So it is telling it is in added state, it is processing. So technically, all these processes happening with the media encoder and Premiere, you can track it from the eMAM director dashboard and see the process. And now that this is completed, I'm going back to Premiere. So now it is creating a thumbnail. And also it is pushing that Premiere Pro XML project file and also the rendered sequence to the centralized eMAM repository. As I mentioned earlier, you can track all those processes from here. And now that process is completed, so you can also see that newly created project file, the XML file, the rendered sequence, all those things are available in the eMAM system. So now let me switch to Resolve. And now I have an untitled project opened in Resolve. And if you go to the workspace and workflow integration, so that is how we integrated with the DaVinci Resolve. And if you open eMAM, so there is an extension panel inside Resolve opens up. The user experience is same across the board. Like if you are using an Adobe Creative Cloud app, whether it's After Effects or Premiere or Photoshop or Illustrator or InDesign, or the DaVinci Resolve Studio, the look and feel and the user experience, everything is going to be same. And only thing, the behind the backend technologies will change based on the platform. And here I'm going to just to hit refresh. And I think I named the sequence as PR to Resolve. Also, you can just search here, like if you search for, see that I just typed a few words and the project is here. So I can expand the project and see what is inside that one. And again, this also indicating that it's a Premiere project because that PR logo is there. Now, if I download that and I can check out that one, I can also link the assets to the original or the proxy. And this is again inside Resolve. And this also detected the sequence called by Rider P1, that is a Premiere sequence. And if I click on OK, it may take some time, and it's also okay. So it is telling there is a like a XML. Okay, sometimes this message comes in, so I have to go directly to the Resolve, and I have to use my import timeline option, and then import that XML directly from here. This again a Resolve thing. We are just still working with the Resolve team to solve these issues. Give me 1 second. D45. So that's my this one, and so it is asking what type of sequence I had to be created and so on. And if I click on OK, so this will in turn create that sequence and dynamically relink to that media in eMAM inside the Resolve. Maybe I have used a larger media. It may take time. Maybe I will come back to this one. And once that the sequence and the media is created in Resolve. Let me know if you have any questions. Dave, is there any questions on the chat or anything?
Not yet, no.
Okay. So again, that's a process. We started like a project in Premiere, and that project, again, this is that the sequence, and that is the project I have created in Premiere. Now it is available in Resolve. And once it is available in Resolve, you can do color correction or whatever workflow with Resolve. And then our extension panel is like if you are completely on Resolve, you can use our extension panel, because all the features supported in Premiere, like project check-in, checkout, import, export, all those things are supported inside Resolve 2. And so this specific workflow I'm showing is if you're starting a project in Premiere and how to get it into Resolve. So once it is in Resolve, we have all those options that we can search and find the additional media from eMAM and bring it into Resolve. And also there is the upload options. You can select the files for upload. There are export options. So this is all kind of similar across the board. Again, once it is project is in Resolve, there are ways to export it back to eMAM, and also we can keep track of the project versioning and everything from Resolve. So that's the Resolve workflow. So I started a project in Premiere, and we brought it all the way into Resolve seamlessly. And irrespective of the location, I can start from New Jersey, and maybe somebody sitting in London or Mumbai can pick up on the same project. And eMAM extension panel will handle all the dynamic relinking, media localization, everything behind the scenes. So let me go to the next slide.
And Resolve is getting more and more attention, obviously based on their hardware, but also the integration is with DaVinci Resolve Studio, which is a one-time perpetual license. So the current pricing on that is US $357, which is attractive to people who have a lot of Adobe monthly licenses. So that'll add up very quickly because that's monthly. Thanks, Anu.
Yeah, thanks. And also another thing to note is Premiere Pro, even now we support Creative Cloud 2024 version. So that's the difference is one is subscription and one is a one-time perpetual. You get all the updates and everything. But we work with both the products, and we connect we build the bridges to connect the workflows and the systems. So now the another one, so this actually came as like a POC requirement. One customer came in and informed us we need a workflow between, they have multiple sites, and we have scattered systems, and we did a federated MAM to look at all the other MAMs in different sites. So that's kind of really exciting. And again, our architecture allows that, because even if you look back to I am with the company for more than 15 years now. Even if you look back to 10 years, that time itself, we had this distributed hybrid architecture and cloud workflows, everything was ready at that time. So now the customers are finding it's more and more, it's easy to make the MAM as a central MAM to look at different, the media exist in different sites, search, find, interchange the media and so on. So this came as a project. Okay, they have multiple iNews location, Interplay locations, and other like newsroom environment. So what if I need to take a story from one location that they are using iNews and Interplay and get it into the MAM system, so it is available to all others, so they can then bring it into their environment, whether it's editing environment, whether it's Resolve or Premiere or another newsroom system. So that's how we can connect these systems together. And then we kind of looked at a company called NLT, and they already have some integrations with the Avid, Interplay, and so on. So we kind of started looking at the integration options, and to be frank, again, there's a tech updates call, right? Thanks to ChatGPT, like we kind of made a kind of a tool so quickly. We fed that XML file, and then we told, okay, these are the things we need, generate a code, and of course we brought that code, and then we have a connector module built within a couple of weeks. So we can process all the media existing in this location. We can index the OP atom material. We can represent the OP atom material with the preview in eMAM. So whenever you need, you just go to eMAM and take that media and send it to other locations. So then we can do a rewrapping, or we can just do format conversion, and so on and so on. And the similar way, the opposite workflow, we also integrated with the NLT media transcoder now. So if you have files coming from the camera and so on, if you wanted to bring that into the interplay and the shared storage, so that integration also built into the system. Now, if you have interest, we have a lab system running in different locations, so we can kind of showcase that workflow. But again, it will be too much to showcase everything in today's call. But if there is an interest, let me know. I will touch upon that in detail. Then another workflow is with the eFeeder. And so we had a Java-based feeder for a long time. And then we built a new eMAM feeder, that is electron-based feeder. And so now this feeder, we recently introduced some embedded database and some local processing module, right? So think like this one. So eMAM is running somewhere in the cloud or in a central location, and the users are sitting at home on field shooting, and they are uploading it. Sometimes the internet connection can be bad, and so we had this issue of things get stuck half the way, and then the administrators having struggled to manage everything from a central environment. As a solution provider, we don't know sometimes what to do, like, because the file may be uploading, it may be partially uploading, there may be temporary network glitches and so on. So we introduced a lot of auto recovery option in eFeeder. So in this case, I just opened eFeeder, and so it is telling these files are in queued status. But if you hit upload, now it is telling, okay, so now this is already in error status because it's in a duplicate file. So there I have the option to reset the status or remove it from the queue. So this will automatically clear the server queue too. So now that my uploading is started, and this is 34% completed, so I just close the feeder, right? So if I close the feeder, and now if I reopen it, and so it will come back to that queued state. And now if I re-upload again, so it found that it is failed in the initial upload. So now it is deleting, it is cleaning up the server side. Again, just imagine, like, if you're uploading a file, there may be multi-part upload, partial uploads in the storage, there may be entries in the database, entries in the dashboard. Now the feeder, I just reopen it and hit upload. It will clean up everything for me, so I can change the status and then re-upload it again. So you can at least know you have more control in your fingertips. If there is a network connection or something, just reopen it and hit upload again. It will auto recover from whatever situation, whether it's a partial upload or a network interruption or like API communication issues or something else. It will try to recover from that one. And if it is not recovering, it is not recoverable, that information will be showed in the description, so you can take informed decisions. In this case also, I'm not worried about the upload. I know the feeder can come back and re-upload it later, so I'm just closed it again. So then the other one is the cable labs. This may take a little bit time to complete. So this is another workflow we built, and so some of you may be already aware about cable labs. So that's a standard to interchange the media or package and share the media with the cable networks. They got a lot of standards, documents and everything. So when we got such kind of requirement, then we ended up with these type of documentations, metadata specification, the asset distribution interface specification, and so on and so on. Then it gives that standard details, how things has to be developed, how the information must be presented, right? And so if you look at here, that's the XML, and how the title and so this is the high level structure. There's a package structure, the title assets, the movie assets, the still image asset, preview asset, trick assets, and so on and so on. I'm not sure you can see this one. Let me show it a little bit higher. And again, if you again, please keep in mind that this is a technical discussion, so I will be going a little bit to the XML and so on. And then each section, package metadata, there is a clear indication that, okay, this is the provider, that's the required field, product required field, what are the supported values, and every type of asset, there is a specification on what are the metadata fields and type of metadata fields, whether it's an optional field or required field, and so on and so on. So after looking at all these things, we were scratching our head how to build this workflow in eMAM. So the customer can just upload the files, and then whenever there is a requirement comes in, right? So for example, if there is a Dish Network, Sling TV comes in and tell we need the poster frame, the video in this format, and so on and so on. DirecTV LATAM can come with a different requirement, or a Comcast can come with a different requirement. So the first step what we have done is, I may need to go to a different system to show this one. Give me 1 second. So I have configured, I'm connecting to different lab systems. So give me 1 second, let me bring this lab system up. It's sleeping, okay, there we go. So the approach we have done is the first is the metadata, right? Like pages and pages of metadata. And the media asset management is also revolving, all the workflows are revolving around metadata. So then what we have done is we tried to create a standard for all these cable labs metadata fields. So we created a script. You don't need to sit there and create this manually. So if you have a cable labs requirement, we capture that one as part of the pre-sales process, or whenever that requirement comes in, we execute that script and it will create all those metadata fields. Then we can create the package level metadata, so that those are our metadata groups. So we can group the metadata field to the package level, or at the title level, or the asset level, and then remaining workflows we have implemented at the category level. Suppose if you have a maybe let me just blow this a little bit, or maybe move it to the center. So if I have a programs, and that is my series, and I have multiple episodes. So and another thing to show here is also in the metadata set, we have these different type of metadata sets. So we can apply the metadata at the asset level, project level, category level, and time code level, that is at the markers and subclip level. So we can attach a structured metadata at different levels. And then we created a metadata set at the category level. So if you have an episode or series, that episode, one series can have multiple episodes, or each episode can have master assets, multiple audio tracks, video tracks, subtitles, and so on, right? But we need to attach the metadata at that level and also at the asset level. So we created different sets. And then if I go to the properties here, that is at the folder level, we apply that set, and then I can associate all the metadata here. What is my asset class, whether it's a package or title or movie or poster. And again, these are the fields I was showing earlier. So in this way, every asset you get ingested, whether it's a package asset or a title asset, or an image which is a box cover, or if it is a MP4 video which is a preview, or if it's a movie, we can create and represent that in the system with this metadata. And then episode 77, I have the master assets, the there may be a separate master for dish, or there can be box covers and so on. Now, if I go to my delivery, I can select my destination, DirecTV LATAM, right? So it is showing something red. That means it is intentional. Again, it is not collecting that information. So something is wrong there. So we are showing it red. Maybe that I don't have all the assets ready to deliver to DirecTV in LATAM. Or maybe just let me try to deliver to Dish Network, right? So at that time, it picked up all the master files and posters and everything automatically, but it is telling the franchise poster is missing. So how you can define that? When every customer comes in, they have some unique requirements. They may need movie poster or franchise poster. And if it is not ingested, so we can find it automatically. Or, okay, let me just use my box cover poster as the franchise poster. I can just simply drag and drop, and manually I can make decisions. And also I can go to the XML preview and see how my XMLs are generated from that point itself. So this is again the XML based on the Cable Lab standard. And so it is taking all these metadata automatically from these the metadata fields you have tagged. And now again, let me cancel this one, and I'm trying to deliver that to DirecTV in LATAM. And as you can see, it's all red here. Then now if I go to XML preview, so it is telling, so I cannot find this variable values, and because those files are not there, I cannot fill up this metadata because this is all variables. And how this configuration is done, and again, that's the front end part. You just ingest the media, and suppose if it is a poster box, so you go to the metadata, and let me go back here. So if you ingest the file, you put it into episode 27, and then go to the asset details, and now, oh, that is my poster cover. So I just tag it as franchise poster, and then we built the algorithms behind the scenes to pick up all these information automatically to assemble your workflow. So as an end user, you just upload it, and you tag the metadata. So if you're not tagging it properly, we cannot get all these metadata. Sometimes it is important, and there are other type of packaging workflow too. So there are different standards are there. We are looking at IMX and different type of packaging, and but this is more metadata driven. And then behind the scenes, let me see if I can. So Dave, let me also remind me about the time. So
11:30.
Okay, thank you. So when a new network comes in, and give me 1 second to log in again. Again, this is our super admin console. So this is how you create a delivery profile. Suppose if there is a new network comes in, I put their name, and then I include the assets. So there is a sidecar options. Now we have a new option called the Cable Labs XML. So that is where you put all these XML standard and customize that one for that customer. You don't need to do any type of programming to do this one. For example, if there is a DirecTV LATAM comes in, and so you just select their destination, where to deliver the files, put all those variables, and then go to that XML. So that is the XML format they need. So then we can just go ahead, and if I need to, now its episode number is hard coded. So if I just need to replace that one with a variable, I just go to my variable list, and there are different type of variables: profile level variables, file level variables, clip level variables. That itself, we have a time code. We have time code in seconds, milliseconds, time code plus offset. That is a SMT standard time code, and different type of time codes are there to meet that XML standards. And now those are the custom metadata. And if I have the episode number and everything here, so I can just replace that with a variable from here. And suppose if I need to put a provider ID somewhere, so I just select that value, and insert it, and that variable is there, and then we dynamically replace the variable. So if you have a new requirement comes in, new client comes in, you come to the super admin and configure everything. So once you are kind of get through all the XML stuff and everything, you can get the entire workflow ready within like a couple of minutes or maybe less than 1 hour or something like that. So that's the cable labs. And so now we have also introduced some attachment options for the sidecar. Nowadays there is more and more requirements are coming from to manage the OP atom materials, right? So we already have a module to ingest the OP atom, like Panasonic P2 and so on, through the eMAM feeder, but that is more for an archive workflow. We get everything, we send it to the archive, and when you want to restore it, you can get it back to the system. But the earlier example, right, the Avid OP atom, at that time we don't want to consolidate everything, but at the same time we need to index it, and also we need to keep track of the relationship between the video track and audio tracks and everything. And that options are there in eMAM in different places. We have also added those options as attachment options at the sidecar XML level. So the 5.4 sidecar XML, so now we have introduced the associate attachment option. So there you can decide where the media is. You just index the media from there. So that means we are not copying or moving the media. So we are just indexing it there. So that means both Interplay and eMAM can look at the same media. And definitely if there's a change, of course, we have to synchronize and so on. But we can index the media, or we can copy the media. So in that way, we can take a copy of the media and keep a copy in S3 or something. So we can just share it with others. And another option is to move the media. So that means, okay, this project is done and my Nexus is filling up, my storage is filling up. I can just create a sidecar XML with all these options. And again, we have the tools to scan these OP atom. That is the tool which I was talking earlier about, the NLT. They can give us all the information, and so then depends on the workflow. We can either index, we can copy, or we can move and free up the Avid storage, so we can become a secondary eMAM to the Interplay environment. And also whenever it is required, so we can put it back into the system, so we can keep all the mobile IDs and so on and so on. So in that way, we can check in the media back to that Interplay system. So let me back to the PowerPoint. Then another option we have added is the overlay for eShare. So that's the let me go to that options. Give me 1 second. I'm sorry, I'm just switching between the systems. That's another thing too. Like none of our customers has all these need in one system, right? Different customers use different set of features, same as our lab system. So we configure different type of workflows in different lab systems. So if you go to eBin, if I need to share some content with others, so if you go to the eShare, so there is an enable overlay option we have introduced, and earlier we had this expiry date based sharing, the access limit, that is all there. But then we kind of but this again a graphic overlay, that is not a like burned in watermarking kind of thing. So that anyway we can do with a transcoder if you wanted to do a burn in watermarking. But if you wanted to do a quick text overlay or a logo overlay, and you can adjust the offset and transparency and everything when you send out an eShare link. So this option is also available in the system. If I'm just going through the things, on some items I'm spending a little bit extra time. If you wanted to know more about any of these features, please put your comments in the question answer section so we can go through that in details.
And also as a standard feature, of course, for a long time now, from an eBin, you can create your own style for the eBin. So your logo in the upper left-hand corner and your style, everything else. But this is a new feature right on top of the video.
Okay. Yeah, again, I'm dealing with multiple windows here. So give me 1 second. Okay, there we go. Okay, then another option we have introduced is to attach the media to a placeholder. So we can attach the media to a placeholder using our sidecar XML file, which I have. There is an attachment option. There is a placeholder option. That all things are part of our sidecar XML. But now in eMAM director, again, you have the option to create a placeholder from here. And most of the cases, this is for a newsroom workflow when a story is there and story, whether it's a ENPS or whatever newsroom system you have, you create a story, you create a placeholder. That placeholder can get created in eMAM through the MOS gateway. And now I have to attach the media to that placeholder. There are ways to attach the media to that placeholder through sidecar, through automation, and so on. And now we can also attach the media to the placeholder from our file versions widget. So, okay, so here I have upload new version, manage subtitles, manage audio track, but let me see. Okay, this is all not a placeholder. Okay, maybe let me select this one. So that is a placeholder. The placeholder can come with all the metadata and everything, but there is no media. Once the media is there, so you can go to that placeholder and attach the media to that placeholder. As soon as the media is processed through the MOS gateway, it will get automatically reflected in the rundowns and stories in the newsroom system. And we are keep on expanding these options. Now we are looking at giving this option directly from Premiere. So again, you remember that Premiere export option, right? You have selecting a sequence, or maybe from Resolve after color correction, and after the review and approval, if that's ready to go to the rundown and so on. There are more improvements coming in that area. So the attached media is mainly for the newsroom workflows. And some customers are using this placeholder for non-news workflows too. And again, if you find some use with the placeholder and attached media options, we can brainstorm more. Okay. Then the next one is the on-demand create proxy workflow. So again, we have a workflow module. We are keep improving that workflow module, and the one change we recently done is the I just want to combine that with the instant asset profile. So I will explain both. So again, most of you all may be familiar with the super admin, or super admin is the place we configure the workflows. So the end user, they just go to the director and all the configurations, all the systems are connected together through the super admin configurations, all the way from business units. In this case, I have multiple business units in this system. Each business unit I can have multiple users. Each business unit I can have multiple storage. So in this case, suppose if there is a distribution business unit, I have MOS configuration with the FSX. FSX is the NAS in AWS. I can have Backblaze, so can have Isilon, S3, and also I can synchronize this one with Amazon S3, Azure Blob, IBM Cloud Object Storage, and so on. The reason I'm telling the one section to look at is a storage. Then how you are feeding the files into that storage, that is through ingest profiles. That is where all these transcode profile configuration and the ingest profile configurations are coming in. So now we have introduced an option to do an instant asset. An instant asset, the difference between instant asset and other profile, I will quickly go through this one. And the managed transcode. So if you have a workflow, maybe a production workflow, if you wanted to bring the media in, create a proxy, create a thumbnail, and create a mezzanine, make everything in advance, ingest the check in the media to eMAM, so you can use the XDCAM 50 mezzanine for your editing, web proxy for preview and sharing, so on. That is a managed transcode workflow. The proxy ingest workflow, I only have proxy, like the webinar recording and everything, which is kind of in a proxy quality. I don't want to create another proxy out of it, so I can be the proxy ingest, original with the proxy. I already have another system that can spit out original and the proxy and everything, that like encoding systems, baseband ingest solution, that is original with proxy. There is a no proxy workflow. The instant asset is closer to the no proxy workflow, but it's slightly different. And also we have the sidecar XML ingest. The instant asset, as soon as you start hitting upload, it will create a placeholder and it will bring all the metadata you tagged into the system, right? So that means the asset is created in the system at the event you click on upload. And then with the thumbnail itself, you can keep track of the progress. So that means it is creating a placeholder first, and before even starting the upload, it is creating an asset. And from that point, if somebody else can look at it and update the metadata, or you have an asset ID that can be shared with another system through an API call, so the other system can populate the metadata into that one while the media is getting uploaded. So once the media is getting uploaded, now what? I don't have a proxy, I don't have the thumbnail. It is just an asset, right? So the media get attached, and then the metadata get attached, and also you can redirect that one into what type of ingest profile and where you wanted to put it, whether you want to put it in FSX or Isilon, all those configurations can be here. And then you go to the workflow, you can create a workflow in such a way that create proxy maybe on demand. So how that works, you my event type is ingest. So again, we have different event types, and my ingest status equal to completed, and my profile equal to instant asset. That means at this condition, I know, okay, that is an instant asset profile. I don't have a proxy for that one, right? And then I can do more, like, and maybe my embedded metadata is an animation, right? What is my format? See all the technical metadata available in the workflow. So you can configure this to redirect that asset to different ingest profiles. Maybe if it is a R3D file, I can redirect that one to an on-prem transcoder like a plastic netters code, because I cannot send a R3D to elemental media convert for transcoding, because they don't support that one. It depends on the format support. If you have mix and match, you can mix and match different transcoders. And that is where we have also introduced create proxy as the action. So with the create proxy, then you can select the storage profile, and then it will populate all the ingest profile associated with that one. So then based on my conditions, I can decide, let me use Adobe Media Encoder to create a proxy, or let me use FFmpeg to create a proxy, or let me use Elemental to create the proxy. And then the remaining configuration can be continued to be there in the ingest profile. So you can create a ingest profile here, and then I can use Elemental as the transcoder here. Then it go to the advanced settings, and you can create all those mezzanine formats and all those options here. Basically, you're creating an ingest profile with all the formats you need, and then you are triggering that ingest profile through a workflow. So you can automate a lot of things through the workflow.
Anoop 1145.
All right. So let me go to the next one. And we also support various S3 storage classes now, and the use cases are here. So S3 standard, we introduced that option back in 2011, I believe, 2011, end of 2011. That is still there, but the prices go up and down. I think S3 prices always goes down. I never seen it went up. And so we have different storage tiers, and you can decide the storage tier based on your workflow. So you can keep the media in standard tier for high-speed ingest, web-based preview, remote editing, sharing distribution, AI indexing, Glacier instant retrieval, online archive, infrequent access, online archive. So it's an active archive, and then depends on your price figure. And also there is an egress cost. It's more important. There is an egress cost. If you pay higher, S3 standard, if you keep it in S3 standard, the egress costs are low. If you put S3 Glacier deep archive, your storage cost is low, but egress cost is very high, and also the retrieval time is very high. So a lot of considerations you have to do when you choose your storage class tier. And we have written a paper with the AWS on this one, and so we can share that details later, like on what are the workflows and how to choose these storage class tiers and so on. So the next thing is the content moderation labels. So this is we built with a recognition. Suppose if you wanted to classify the items automatically, so we have the options to do that now. So we can let me quickly show that. Give me 1 second. System. Let me go to a different business unit, and again I'm switching to a different business unit within the eMAM. So I'm just going to unit of check, and as you can see, the look and feel and layouts and everything is different. And now if I search for garden, okay, I think it may not be there in this system. 1 second. Oh, sorry, I switched to a wrong unit. Let me go to unit of check. There we go. So now I can get all these details, the moderation labels. There's a violence, the weapon violence. You just search and find the content based on your the moderation labels. And on top of that one, you can also apply something like a classification. So I can just make a like a classification label, like a violence is my search filter, and inside contains violence, or I'm searching within the data returned by the AI. So I can save that, and now I have this available in our search filter as a classification filter. So I just go to violence, so it will automatically list all the items meeting that criteria. So you can combine these moderation labels with our search filter capabilities to build your own custom classification filters, search filters, and so on. Then we also support supporting the elemental job templates now. So this is basically one customer with the OTT delivery requirements and everything. So they have to create multiple formats. The job preset can create only one format, but the job template, you can create multiple formats. It can be multiple renditions. You can mix and match multiple presets. And now we can also, there are some workflows are good for the newsroom workflows too. Like if you have a 1 hour, 2 hour material in S3, and you wanted to get it, get a 10-second clip out of that one. So you mark an in and out, and through the job template, there is a rewrap option. So you are not transcoding it. You are extracting only the frames from S3 through Elemental. Then it can spit out the clip into the destination S3, and then you can grab it from there. So there is a lot of new options introduced as part of the elemental job template. Then another one is the schedule-based workflow execution. So we have it is similar to the workflow which I was showing earlier, but in this case, my event type is scheduler. So we have a schedule-based metadata, and then you can put your condition. And here my schedule metadata is expiry date. So this expiry date we can set. Suppose if you are bringing the media from Shutterstock or Adobe Stock or Stock libraries, there may be an expiry date or write information associated with that one. Then we can feed that information into a schedule-based metadata. And once the schedule, if it is an expiry date, for example, if I set my expiry date as December 31st, 2023, then that workflow for that specific asset is going to trigger on that day. And then you can apply the action for that one. Okay. Also, you can do more conditions checking there. Then you can apply the conditions here. In this example, I'm just moving that asset to a limited access category and sending out an email to an email address, or you can send out an API notification. So that's an example of a schedule-based workflow execution. Then another thing, we are officially a SOC 2 Type 1 ISO 27001 certified company, and but it's still scratching in the surface. Type 1 is just a point-in-time audit. So this is another major shift and transforming ourselves as an organization to following the processes and implementing all the security guidelines and more security. This is kind of outcome of that initiatives. And yeah, we are very proud to say that we are officially a SOC 2 Type 1 ISO 27001 company. I think that's the end of the slides. If there is a question, I can.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, Farnoop. And obviously, in addition to if the media is in one of the public cloud systems, that's going to be protected by all the certifications of that particular cloud system. But yeah, thanks so much, Anoop. Take one quick second and breathe for a moment. Wanted to underscore, I mean, this was a technical presentation, so we kind of wanted to give you an overview of all the flexibility for packaging everything else, and not with the assumption that you can necessarily do it on your own. But we're, our team, our partners, everything else will happy to help you configure it. But it's some things are baked into the system to give the flexibility for customers. And obviously, you do not want to show your end users what you saw today. From their perspective, it's click, choose one of the buttons, and off it goes. But thanks so much, Anoop. And let's see if people have any questions. Happy to share a recording of today's session, technical documentation on anything that we went through, or we can set up a separate session about particular technical questions you had. If you want a sales overview, we'll get our colleagues on that side to show you how it looks to your customers. But today was really just a technical update on things we've been working on
for last 5, 6, 7 months. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And also, like, wait for the new announcements. Tune in for the NAB Show 2024. So we may be having more items coming there.
Sure. And would love feedback on other things you think we should be working on, or would love to hear from you. I think we kind of answered all the questions within, but I'll give people another moment to see if there's any questions that we didn't answer during the presentation. And oops, there's one. Someone raised a hand. Let's see. Did you want to ask a live question? I can put you on mute.
I don't think so. I think they have to use the chat section to.
Sure.
I think you're able to type your questions. Sorry.
Sure. Put them in the chat or question window, or we can answer them offline.
Yep. And one more thing to quickly show is if you have any questions, like first you can also type it here in our support portal, right? So like if you simply type for 2024, so you can create a cloud options, all those things are here. And also there is a live chat option available here, and so any questions related to Premiere, so you can also come directly to our support portal and type it there too.
Okay, I think we have answered all the questions. So again, thank you so much for your time today. Let us know if you want a recording, copy of the PowerPoint overview, or any other questions we can answer. Otherwise, thanks so much for your interest and have a great day.
Thank you. Thanks for your time. Have a good one.